if there is pleasure, there will always be suffering. So if I want to free myself from suffering, I should also free myself from pleasure. These two philosophies were so similar that at one point of time people, started to look at them as a single school of thought. They have come up with great methodologies that have been used by other darshanakaras, and they are still being used by other darshanakaras. So they have a lot of contribution towards our Sanatana Dharma. Nowadays, whoever study Nyaya, they study Nyaya to understand Vedanta better. Maybe there could be some people, some families, I don't know. But mostly there are no Nayayikas left today.
So there is a saying, no, Kanadam, Panini Yancha, Sarvashastra Upakarakam.
Yes, Panini grammar and Kanadam, the Vaisheshika Shastra, both of them are Sarvashastra Upakarakam. They help all other Shastras.
Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us in this episode of Svairalapam. Today we are going to learn about one of the most intellectually rigorous school of thought, the Nyaya philosophy and Vaisheshika philosophy. Usually these two philosophies are learned together. We have our Vidwan Shri Uve Paravastu Varadarajan Swami for enlightening us. Swami, welcome to this episode. Adiyan Ramanujadathan.
Adiyan Ramanujadathan Swami. We had previously done an episode about the Charvaka Darshanam, and later on, it has been a couple of months. We wanted to do regarding other Nastika Darshanas, but before doing that, Adiyan just felt that since Nyaya and Vaisheshika Darshanas are, more familiar to Adiyan, let's do a podcast regarding that, and then we can, do the other Darshanas. So we are here to discuss about Nyaya and Vaisheshika Darshanas. Yes.
Basically, we have 6 Astika Darshanas. Yes. Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Purva Mimamsa and Vedanta. Among these, Nyaya and Vaisheshika are often referred together.
Yes.
Can you give a simple introductory note on Nyaya and Vaisheshika schools of thought?
Sure. So, among the various darshanas of this land, Bharata, these are 2 prominent darshanas which are known as Nyaya Darshana and Vaisheshika Darshana. There were 2 rishis, one Kanada Rishi, the other Gautama Rishi, also called as Akshapada, who founded these philosophies. The Rishi Kanada founded the Vaisheshika school of thought, Vaisheshika Darshana, and Gautama, also called as Akshapada, founded the Nyaya Darshana. The name Kanada has been given to this Rishi because it is said that he used to go in rounds in search of grains which have fallen near fields and all, and then he used to consume only them. So Kanan Ati iti Kanadaha. So he is also called Kanad, Kanabhuk, Kanabhaksha and all. That is one meaning given to his name. Some scholars may not agree, but we need not really think about what the meaning of his name is. So that is one Rishi who gave birth, or who established this school of thought, or this darshana called Vaisheshika Darshana. This is Vaisheshika Darshana. And the Rishi Gautama, who is also known as Akshapada, it is said that he had an eye in his foot. That's why he is called Akshapada, Akshacharana and all. That Rishi founded the Nyaya school of thought, Nyaya Darshana. Coming to the darshanas themselves, it can be seen that the Nyaya Darshana, it is, usually examining the pramanas. Basically, they are doing epistemology. And if you come to the Vaisheshikas, they are trying to understand reality, understand what substances this reality is made up of. And so they are actually examining ontology, or they are doing ontology. Let me slightly explain what epistemology and ontology mean. Epistemology is the study of knowledge, the sources of knowledge, and so on. So you will see that the Nyaya school of thought, they are basically, trying to understand how we obtain knowledge, how we can make sure that we can obtain the right kind of knowledge. So they are, basically examining the sources of knowledge. That is why the Nyaya Shastra is called Pramana Shastra. And coming to Vaisheshika Shastra, they actually do a categorization of all substances in this world, and they try to understand how this world actually works, and then try to free themselves from this world. Both of them are intent upon freeing themselves from this samsara. Okay, for every darshana, liberation is the ultimate goal. But what liberation is another thing, and how to get liberated is another thing. As we have seen in the previous episode, each darshana has its tattva hita purushartha, its understanding of reality, its ultimate goal, and the means to that goal. For both of these philosophies, there are many similarities. Okay, they have an understanding of reality. We are going to see what it is actually. And then their ultimate goal is to get liberated. For them, liberation is nothing but being devoid of suffering and happiness. Okay, so it is said that their liberation is pashana kalpa moksha. It is just like being a stone. Okay, so you're not, experiencing pleasure, nor are you experiencing some suffering. Okay, for them, if there is pleasure, there will always be suffering. So if I want to free myself from suffering, I should also free myself from pleasure. So this is their idea of liberation. And to attain that liberation, they say that the knowledge of the substances in this world is very important. Tattvajnanat nishreyasa siddhi. Okay, this is their basic philosophy. So I think, this must suffice as a good introductory note.
We can see there is a grouping among Shad Darshanas. Sankhya and Yoga are usually grouped together. Likewise, Purva Mimamsa and Vedanta are combined. Likewise, Nyaya and Vaisheshika, these two are combined together.
Yes.
What is the reason?
See, though there are...
there must be some similarities. I can understand that there must be some similarities between these two darshanas which made
people to combine
it.
Yes. See, that is the same thing, right? When you look at the Sankhya and Yoga philosophy, there are a lot of similarities. Okay, only they have some differences regarding the acceptance of Ishvara. Okay, in between Sankhya and Yoga. Coming to Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa, that is Purva Mimamsa and Vedanta, both are doing research about the Vedas. Basically they are trying to interpret the Vedas. One is interpreting the Purva Bhaga of Vedas. The other one is doing interpretation of the Vedanta. Though they have some philosophical differences among them, since they have this similarity, they are grouped together. Similarly, coming to the Nyaya and Vaisheshika philosophies, they have many things in common. You can actually number the differences between them, but you cannot number the similarities between them. So that's why they are grouped together. And some 1,000 years ago, or even just a little more, they merged together to be known as the Tarka philosophy, or sometimes widely known as Navya Nyaya. Okay, when this advent of Navya Nyaya happened, it is considered to be started by Gangesha Upadhyaya, and you have the other great scholars of the Nyaya field like Gadadhara Bhattacharya and so on. So these these two philosophies were so similar that at one point of time people started to look at them as a single school of thought. Okay, so they merged together.
Actually, can we interpret the word Nyaya as logic?
Yes. In the Nyaya Bhashyam, the word Nyaya has been defined as such. Pramanaihi artha parikshanam Nyaya. Through the right sources of knowledge, examining the reality is Nyaya. Basically logical approach. Okay, only through the right sources of knowledge can you gather right knowledge about the substances, right? So logical approach could be an apt meaning. Yes.
Then what does the word Vaisheshika mean?
In the Vaisheshika Darshana, as we have seen before, they are actually trying to classify, understand what the objects in this world are. Among their substances or entities, there is this entity called Vishesha. In this episode, we are going to see about that. Since they believe in this entity called Vishesha, they are called as Vaisheshikas. In some texts, the meaning of the word Vaisheshika has been elaborately given. There are up to 15-16 meanings for the single word Vaisheshika, but let's stick to one meaning. The people who agreed upon this substance called Vishesha are called Vaisheshikas. Their darshanam is called Vaisheshika Darshanam. So Nyaya Darshanam, Vaisheshika Darshanam, and even in the Vaisheshika Darshanam you have Nyaya. Like, it is not like they are not using logic. So both these darshanas have logic as a very important point around which the darshanas roam. Okay, but again their drishti, their approach, their intent is to understand the pramanas, one's intent is to understand the reality.
I have heard people saying Nyaya Darshanam, referring Nyaya Darshanam as Tarka shastram also.
Yes.
Is the word Tarka a synonym for word Nyaya?
It can be considered to be a synonym of Nyaya, but again the word Nyaya itself has many meanings, and the word Tarka also has many meanings. Like a debate is also called Tarka, right? And there is a type of knowledge which is called Tarka. Vyapyaropena vyapakaropas Tarka.
But basically Tarka shastram and Nyaya shastram both are same.
Both are same. Usually, after the merger of Nyaya and Vaisheshika, if there is a common name that could be given to both of them, it could be Tarka shastram. Okay, so you will find many texts like Tarka Sangraha and all. Okay, and of course the word Tarka has again many meanings. When you say in the Tarka Sangraham, it is a Tarkyante iti Tarkaha Padarthaha, they say. Of course, logically proven. Logically proven, and many more meanings to that word. But you can say Tarka Shastram. Yes, of course you can say.
So in this podcast, we are going to study about, or we are going to gain some little knowledge about Tarka Shastram, which is a combined form of Nyaya philosophy and Vaisheshika philosophy.
Yes.
Let's dive deep into it.
Yes, sure. Now, in every school of philosophy, first you must understand what their sources of knowledge are and how they come to understand reality. Okay. For the Tarkikas, there are 4 sources of knowledge. Actually, there is a distinction between the Nyaya and Vaisheshika school of thought here. The Vaisheshikas believe that there are only 2 pramanas, and the Nyayikas say that there are 4 pramanas. Basically, pramana means prama karanam. Prama is used to denote right knowledge. Okay, and karanam means a tool. So a source of right knowledge or a tool to gain right knowledge is called pramanam. Okay, so what are the pramanas agreed upon by Vaisheshikas, it is Pratyaksham and Anumanam. Okay. Coming to the Nyayikas, they say that there are Pratyaksham, Anumanam, Shabda, Upamanam. 4. The later on works like the Tarka Sangraha and all, they have pramanas classified into 4. So let's stick to that. Okay. Let me first explain what Pratyaksham, Anumanam, Shabda, Upamanam are. First, Indriyartha Sannikarshajanyam Jnanam Pratyaksham they say. Sometimes it is, defined as perception. Perception through our sense organs is called Pratyaksham. Okay. The word Pratyaksham can denote the knowledge that we gain and the tools that can be used to gain that knowledge. Both are Pratyaksham. So we gain Pratyaksham through Pratyaksham. Okay. Hope I'm not confusing. But the knowledge gained is also Pratyaksham. The source of knowledge is also called Pratyaksham. Okay. Now, what are the real sources of gaining Pratyaksha knowledge? That is our sense organs. Okay. Like we have 5 sense organs: our eyes, our nose, our tongue, our ears, and our skin. Not exactly skin, it is called Twagendriyam, but we can understand that to be skin. Okay. So through my eyes, I can know what objects here are. So that is my one kind of perception. And then through nose, I can know smell. Through my ears, I can get to know sounds. Through my tongue, I can get to know taste. And through my skin, I can, get to know the temperature, the, softness or hardness of an object, and sometimes the object itself, the existence of an object. Usually in this school, it is said that through eyes and through skin, you can get to know the existence of an object, like the object itself. Okay. You see through your eyes and you can know that there is an object there. You get to know the existence of an object. And by touching some object, you can know that there is an object there. You can get to know that object itself. But by the other 3 senses, you can just know the qualities of objects, like the taste of it, the sound of something, and the smell of something.
So why if I put some object in my mouth, through tongue, I know there is an object in my mouth?
No, when you know that there is an object in your mouth, it is through the skin, like Twagendriyam, that you are knowing that there is an object there. What you know through that tongue, the Jihva, Rasanendriyam, it is only taste.
Oh, the taste receptors inside the tongue, it is called as the Rasanendriyam.
Something like that. Okay. Okay. Let's not bring science here. Okay. So they have their own philosophy. Like the Panchendriyas are the products of Panchabhutas and all. It is again something else. So this is basically Pratyaksham, and they also believe that, they also agree that the manas, there is this object called manas, the mind, which perceives certain things like pleasure, suffering and all. These are perceived through manas, not the other sense organs, but through manas. So there are 5 sense organs and the manas. So 6 organs you can consider, 6 indriyams actually, through which you can gain Pratyaksha knowledge. So to gain Pratyaksha knowledge, there are 6 pramanas, sources of knowledge, 5 sense organs and the manas. Okay, though this is Pratyaksham. Okay.
If you give an example, it will be easy for understanding.
Yeah. See, now I know that you are sitting in front of me, right?
That is the knowledge.
That is a knowledge. That knowledge regarding the existence of you. Okay. What is the source of my knowledge? That is my eyes. Okay. Through my eyes, I have perceived you here. Okay. So the knowledge about you has been obtained through my eyes. So the knowledge regarding you is Pratyaksham, which was obtained through my eyes, which is also called Pratyaksham, source of knowledge here. Okay, that is one source of knowledge. I can hear your words, right? That is through my ears. I hearing those words, perceiving those words has been facilitated by my ears. So through my ears, I have gained the knowledge of your words. I have perceived your words. These all are part of Pratyaksha.
So the ear is an instrument in perceiving the sounds.
Yeah, ear is a
So
pramanam.
instrument for knowledge of sounds.
Knowledge of sounds, only sounds.
Only sounds. Yeah.
Yeah, because ear cannot perceive anything else, right? So ear is the indriyam or tool to perceive sounds. Each indriya has its own definition again.
Yeah.
Okay. Shabda grahakam indriyam, shravanendriyam, they say, and all. Shrotrendriyam and all. So this is pratyaksham. Maybe in another podcast we can go deep into what pratyaksham actually means. Is it right and all? But for this is enough. So this is pratyaksham.
So we can define pratyaksham as organs, sense organs.
Yes, because source of knowledge is pratyaksham. That is sense organs and manas. Okay. Yes. The knowledge obtained by them is also called pratyaksham again.
Okay.
Okay. That's but it is not pramana. That is prama. There is pratyaksha prama, pratyaksha pramanam. Pratyaksha prama is the knowledge obtained. Pratyaksha pramanam is the source of that knowledge which has been obtained. Okay. And then the second one is Anumanam. This is the stronghold of Nyayikas, Tarkikas. There is this famous saying in among Sanskrit scholars. Pratyaksha siddham apyartham anumanena sadhayitum icchanti Tarkikaha. Nyayikaha they say. So even if there is this person in front of a Nyayika, he would actually want to infer the existence of that person. Like even if you are able to perceive some person, they are intent upon gaining that knowledge through inference, through Anumanam. So they are basically Anumana Priyaha. And not only that, they are very fond of Anumanam, they have done so much research regarding how Anumanam actually works. You will find fat books with hundreds of pages in them, in which the Nyayikas have dived very deeply into understanding how inference actually works. The Nyayikas are famous for introducing a style in Sanskritam. It is sometimes called Navyanyaya Bhasha. It's considered to be a sub-language of Sanskrit itself. They bring parishkaras. I mean, they explain things in such a precise manner that there is no ambiguity at all. Like, sometimes our language, it has some deficiencies in it. Like, we try to explain something, but due to lack of some words, there is some ambiguity attached to that. But these Nyayikas are experts in explaining something without any ambiguity, with precise, sentences, precise words they try to explain. Because these Tarkikas have been considered very good at reasoning and arguing. In the sutras, Nyaya sutras and all, you will find the rules of how to argue with people. You will find categorizations of debates like Vadaha, Jalpaha, Vitanda, and how an argument, a debate must end, when it will end, the Nigraha Sthanams and all. So they have meticulously drawn how to debate, how to win a debate and all. So these were very expert people in that. And later on, all the darshanas have borrowed a lot from these people. Okay. So it has been told in many places that
Indian logicians are actually celebrated regarding this matter.
Yeah. Because be it any shastra, be it Vyakaranam, be it grammar, be it Mimamsa, be it the Vedanta, they have borrowed a lot from the Nyayikas. Okay. So they have borrowed many things. They have borrowed their methodology and all. So they have done a lot of upakaram to other darshanas also. So now coming to the Anumanam.
So there is a saying, no, Kanadam, Panini, Yancha, Sarvashastra Upakarakam.
Yes. The grammar, Panini grammar, and Kanadam, the Vaisheshika Shastra, both of them are Sarvashastra Upakarakam. They help all other Shastras. So that is very important. Okay, now coming to the topic here. The second source of knowledge is called Anumanam, inference. So the Tarkikas have done so much parishkaram, so much research in this that we cannot explain Anumanam in a single episode. There is so much to it. But I'll try to explain it in as simple words as possible. This is the most famous example. Parvato Vanhiman Dhumat. There is this person who goes to a mountainous place. There, far away, he sees that there is smoke coming from an area, and that is not normal smoke. It is very dark and it is coming continuously. He looks at that smoke, he sees that smoke, and now he comes to the conclusion that there is fire there. Okay, that mountain has fire because of smoke. Parvataha Vanhiman Dhumat. Now this is the inference. Now he has inferred the existence of fire in that particular mountain.
Without seeing fire.
Without seeing fire, of course. If he has seen fire, it would become Pratyaksha. The knowledge he has gained now is right knowledge. It is not wrong knowledge. So another source of right knowledge is called inference. The Tarkikas say that there are some things that are needed before inferring. Like they say Vyapti Jnanam. This person who has come to this area has already seen that in his house or in other places, smoke is always with fire. He has seen that. He has found that there is a relationship between smoke and fire. There may be fire without smoke, but this kind of smoke can never be without a fire. This is a unique relationship between fire and smoke. He has the knowledge of that unique relationship, which is called Vyapti Jnanam. So this person has Vyapti Jnanam. He goes there, he sees smoke on a particular mountain. That is called Paksha Dharmata Jnanam. And after, these two combine together to form something called Paramanas, they say. And then he infers the existence of fire in that particular mountain without seeing fire. Okay, this is how Anumanam works. The knowledge gained about the existence of fire is called Anumiti. Okay, the source or the tool that has been used to gain that knowledge is called Anumanam. And though there are many, differences of opinion regarding what exactly it is, the ancient Nyayikas say that his knowledge of the unique relationship between smoke and fire led to his inference. Without him knowing that relationship, he could have never inferred the existence of fire, right? So that knowledge, the Vyapti Jnanam, the knowledge regarding that relationship led to the inference. So that is called Anumanam. The process of doing inference is also called Anumanam, but since now we are speaking about the tools of knowledge or direct sources of knowledge, here that refers to the relationship, the knowledge of that relationship. Okay, so this is the second one, Anumanam. But coming to Anumanam, it just doesn't end here, right? There could be many defects in Anumanam. In English, usually they say logical fallacies, right?
Yeah.
While you are trying to deduct something, what happens is there are fallacies that could enter. So in this particular context, the Nayayikas also speak about fallacies, logical fallacies. Usually they can be kind of translated as to logical fallacies. The word used in this Shastra is Hetvabhasa. There are 5 kind of fallacies which have subdivisions and all. Okay, let me explain 1-2 things here. Like there is this fallacy called Badhita. The fallacy is called Badha. Basically, it is like some person for the first time in his life is looking at fire. Could be a very small child. Okay. For that child, whatever he has touched in his life has always been cool or not hot. Okay.
Room temperature.
Room temperature. Mostly room temperature. Could be something cold. Now first time he looks at
means he never know the feeling of heat.
He has never touched something hot.
Okay.
He hasn't experienced heat or extreme heat, like. Okay. What happens is, this child, he has noted in his mind that any substance in this world will be near room temperature. Okay. Not very hot. So he has that vyapti jnanam, that relationship. Any substance in this world will usually be around the room temperature. This is what he thinks. For the first time, he goes and touches the fire. Now see, going by the rules of inference, what happens is, the inference is very right. Because whatever he has touched till now has always been around the room temperature. So his understanding of reality till now is right. The vyapti jnanam has no deficiency in it. But this, when he touches, it is hot. So his inference regarding vannihi anushnaha, this thing that is in front of me will also be around room temperature, he thought. Because till now, whatever he has experienced has been so. So his Anumanam, his inference could have been right. But the problem here is, it is against Pratyaksham. His inference was, Vanni must also be, fire must also be around room temperature. That was his inference. But that inference is contradictory to Pratyaksham. Okay. So what happens here is, this is a fallacy. You cannot infer something which is contradictory to Pratyaksham. Okay. So pramanantara badhitatvam they say. There must be no contradictory pramanam other than this. Okay. And there is more to this. Sometimes what happens is, Pratyaksham goes against Anumanam. Sometimes Anumanam goes against Pratyaksham. Not always does Pratyaksham win. There are places, there are examples where Anumanam is more powerful than Pratyaksham and all. So this is for another video. So this is Anumanam. We can find many these kind of fallacies in our own life, right?
Yeah.
Like we speak with 4 Telugu people and we say that Telugu people are such or Tamilians are such. Okay, what happens?
Yeah.
That is a fallacy, right?
Yeah. We cannot infer.
So inference has its own limitations.
Yeah. And it also happens, my mother always carries a handbag whenever she go out. She always wear slippers also. But once I see slippers in house, I infer that mother is inside, my mom is inside. But her handbag is missing, which make me infer that she is outside. But this is a contradictory inference happens.
Yeah. So, the vyapti jnanam, that must be very right. There must be no fallacy. There are many fallacies, vyabhicharaha, virodhaha and all. So there must be no fallacy when you are doing inference. So understanding the fallacies is important for you to infer in a correct way.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are 5.
I have a marriage hall near my house. Sometimes when I enter house, there will be a beautiful aroma of some masala items. So I thought that
something
in
is
my
happening.
house today
is cooking.
There is a great feast. But when I go inside, I come to know that it is from the neighborhood.
Yes, this is a fallacy, right? This fallacy is called Swarupa Siddhi. Because you are thinking that my home has something being cooked in it because of some aroma. You think that that aroma is arising from your house, but actually that aroma is arising from the neighboring house, neighboring place. So this is called Swarupa Siddhi, where the Paksha doesn't have the Hetu. So there are many fallacies. We must be aware of the fallacies so that we don't fall for them. Okay. So they have explained all this. The classification. There are 5 fallacies. Savyabichara, Viruddha, Asiddha, Satpatipakshita, Badhitaha. It is also called Vyabichara, Virodha, Asiddhi, Satpatipaksha, Badhaha. 5 fallacies there are, and there are subcategories to it. So these are all examined, researched upon in Anumanam. And then they have the third Pramanam, which is called Upamanam. I have seen many people not explaining this in the right way. Upamanam basically is, comparison. But again, in the Nyaya Darshana, when they speak about Upamanam, they are gaining a certain type of knowledge through comparison. And that knowledge is regarding the name of an object. Okay. They say Sanya Sanyi Sambandha Jnanam Upamitihi. The knowledge of an object and its name. Like, you know that this object is called this. That kind of knowledge is obtained through Upamanam. That's all. Not every comparison is Upamanam. Okay, I'll explain what happens. So this is how they explain that. There is this person from a town who goes to the forest for the first time. A forest dweller tells that person that this Gosadarsho Gavayaha, an animal which is very similar to a cow, is Gavayaha, he says. Gavaya is also called, I think Gayal or something like that in English. So that is a kind of, ox or, a kind of a 4-legged animal which is very similar to cow, but it's not a cow. So it is called Gavayaha in Sanskritam. So this person, he has never seen a Gavaya. So this forest dweller told him that Gavaya is very similar to Gau, that is cow. Now he goes into the forest and he sees a Gavaya for the first time in his life. Now he remembers that sentence told by the forest dweller. He sees that, okay, this is the thing he was mentioning about. Now he gets to know that, okay, this thing which I have seen is called Gavaya. So now what he has obtained is the knowledge regarding the name of that particular animal. It could be the name of a particular animal or an object, something. But that is Upamiti, that's all. Any comparison that is done is not called Upamanam. That which leads to this particular type of knowledge regarding a name of an object is called Upamanam. Okay.
Can we say like that a person who doesn't know about a tablet, means a big mobile.
Yeah.
He asks what is a tablet. Some person says it is a mobile-like structure but little big.
Yes.
So he sees a structure like that, a mobile with a touch screen in it and looks like a bigger screen. So he understands from that sentence a bigger mobile is a tablet.
Yes.
He first had the knowledge of the word tablet, then he understands the meaning of tablet, the word tablet.
The word tablet, yes. So it is kind of complicated here. Once he hears that sentence, that which is similar to a phone but larger is tablet. This is a sentence. He listens to that. And then when he sees a tablet for the first time, that's when his knowledge happens. The Upamiti happens. That anything that is similar is called tablet. Okay. After that, he need not remember that sentence everywhere, every time. So now he has understood what the word tablet means. Okay. We see that, we can find this in small children. They just need to see one object, like they need to see one cow to understand what a cow is. After that, even if it is very small, it is in the screen of a phone or in a temple's gopuram. Once they see the structure, they know that it's a cow. Okay, even if in a cartoon the cow is standing with standing on two legs, the child knows that it's a cow. So they recognize some basic parts that define a cow and they understand. Similarly, once a person looks at that object and he remembers that sentence, now he has gained the knowledge regarding the relationship between the name and that object. Sanya Sangi Sambandha Jnanam Upamitihi. So I was researching for this and saw in many places that people were just saying comparison Upamanam. No, it has more to it and there is more parishkaram to it. Okay, there are many texts, they go very deep into this. Okay, and then there is this fourth source of knowledge which is called a Shabda. Here Shabda actually means a sentence spoken by an authentic person. Apta Vakyam Shabdaha desi. Aptaha means authentic. He has authentic knowledge and he is able to present that in a right way. That person is called Aptaha. So authentic person. Anything spoken by an authentic person is a right source of knowledge. Okay, a sentence actually. So that is Shabdaha. Through that we can procure right knowledge. Actually, the Vaisheshikas don't accept Shabda as a different pramanam. They say that it will fall under inference itself. Like if a person is speaking a sentence, for the Vaisheshikas, they would understand that since this person is speaking this sentence, he must have this kind of intention. Through this inference, we gain knowledge, they say. Okay, there is more to it, but something on these lines. Okay. So now coming to the Shabda Pramanam, let me give you an example. Like, if at all I am an authentic person, I come to you and say, there are 5 apples in my house. Okay. Now you believe that. Okay. And the knowledge that you have gained regarding the existence of those apples is right, true.
Yeah.
So that also is a right source of knowledge.
Yeah.
It could be right only if I am authentic.
Yes.
If I have the right knowledge and have the right or the ability to present it in the right way. Sometimes what happens is, there are people who have very good knowledge, but they are not able to present it in a clear way. So they cannot be considered aptas.
Yeah.
Though they have knowledge, if they cannot present it in a right way, what happens is they cannot be authentic while speaking. So you must have both authentic knowledge and the ability to present that in a right way. So that person is called apta. Anything told by that person can be considered to be pramanam, right source of knowledge. There is a subtle difference between, Shravana Pratyaksham and Shabda Jnana. Because while speaking about Pratyaksham, there we saw that the ears are a source of knowledge. Here we are saying that Shabdam is again a different source of knowledge. There is a difference to it. While we were speaking about ears, our ears pick up sounds, that's all. If I suddenly start to speaking in Telugu, most of our audience, even they were here, you will hear the sounds, but you won't be able to gain knowledge. So your ears facilitate
I will have the knowledge of sounds, but not the meanings.
Yes. The, obtaining of the meaning from the sounds is the, process through which we gain knowledge through Shabda. So there is a difference between Shravana Pratyaksham and Shabda Jnana. Okay. Actually, one point that I would like to make here is, there is a lot of things that we are simplifying in this podcast. Okay. If you really want to gain more knowledge regarding this, you must approach authentic gurus who have, knowledge about the Shastras. And if you study under them, you will gain a lot of knowledge. Our Acharyas were not, people just speaking about stories and all. They were great philosophers. Okay. We are just touching the tip of the iceberg. Not even the
just
tip actually.
dipping our fingers into the ocean of knowledge.
Yeah. And that too not in the right way. We are, struggling. Okay. So this is Shabda. Shabda here is sentence told by an authentic person. Okay. So we have seen what 4 sources of knowledge for a Nyayika are. Okay. Through these sources of knowledge, he comes up with a classification of padarthas.
Yeah. Everywhere there is a classification. Even in modern science, they classify everything into elements. The combination of elements is the world.
Yeah.
Like that, each and every darshana has a classification.
Right. Yes. So the Tarkikas, what they do is they classify all the objects in this world into 7. They are called Sapta Padarthaha. Padarthaha actually means that which can be denoted by a word. That is Padartha. So everything is a Padartha. If there is a word for it, then it is a Padartha. See, it need not have a specific word for it. We say there is an entity, there is an object. These are some general terms, right? Even if something can be denoted by this general term, it is a Padartha. So anything which exists is a Padartha, right? So they say that there are Sapta Padartha, 7 Padarthas. Though the Vaisheshika Sutras don't clearly mention about the 7th Padartha, all the scholars believe that their philosophy has 7 Padarthas in it. We are not getting into history, interpretation and all. We are just trying to understand the philosophy. So I will just explain what those Sapta Padarthas, 7 Padarthas are. Dravya, Guna, Karma, Samanya, Vishesha, Samavaya, Abhavaha, Sapta Padarthaha, they say. First, Dravyam. Dravyam is basically objects. Objects like could be this mic, could be this chair, could be my body, could be me, the Jivatma. These are all Dravyas. Basically what they say is Gunavat Kriyavat Va Dravyam. Anything that has a quality. Anything that has a quality is Dravyam, is an object.
Matter,
yes.
Something which occupies space, they say like that.
Yeah, but space itself is
Matter.
Is a Dravyam. Okay. So that which has a quality is Padartha, is a Dravyam for them. Okay. Dravyam could be matter. Okay, right? Because we cannot come up with the right translation for every word.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can consider that to be matter. But again, space is also Dravyam. Okay. So there are 9 objects, they say. Prithvi, Ap, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha, Kala, Dik, Atma, Manamsi. They say. Everyone must be aware of 5 elements. Right? Panchabhutas. Prithvi doesn't just mean the earth. Anything that is, solid and has some qualities to it, some other unique qualities, they all come under Prithvi. Like this chair is Prithvi, mic is Prithvi. Our bodies also has Prithvi in it. Okay. For the Nyayika, it is full Parthiva. Okay. So this is all Prithvi. And you have Up, that is Jal, water, air, and fire, Akasha, space. So in this, the right sequence is,
these are very famous.
Yeah. Space, air, fire, water, and Prithvi, earth. These are the 5 elements. And then they have Kala, Dik, Atma, Manas. They consider Kala, that is time, to be everywhere. It is also a Dravya. It's a Dravya. It is there everywhere.
It is a substance.
Kalam is a substance which is omnipresent, there everywhere, and which is eternal. Mahakala, they say. So Kala, that is one substance. And then they have Dik, directions. For them, direction is also a substance which is there everywhere. It is a single substance, but due to various reasons, it is called east, west, and all. That is actually relative, right?
Yeah.
So for me, you are in the west, I think, or east.
East.
Yeah, for me, you are in the east. But for the door behind you, you are in the west. So everything, east and west, are relative. So they say that there is this substance called dik everywhere. Okay, that is one substance they agree upon. And Atma. Atma is of two types, Jivatma and Paramatma. For the Nyayika, Jivatma is also omnipresent. He is Vibhuhu.
Vibhu.
Jivatma is also Vibhuhu. He has his own arguments for that. But for him, Jivatma is also omnipresent. And he has Ishvara. Ishvara is also omnipresent and he is omniscient. He knows everything. There is one thing that I want to explain here. For the Nyayika, he considers that God or Ishvara can be inferred. For the Vedantis, we say that Bhagavan can be understood only through Shastras. But for the Nyayika, he says that we can infer Ishvara. He says that
Means you can prove the existence of God through Anumanam.
Through Anumanam, through inference. So, like by Udayanacharya in a Nyaya Kusumanjali and all, he has provided many arguments for the existence of God. Okay, that could be for another video. But they believe that you can argue for the existence of God. Bhagavan can be in a way deducted through Anumanam procedure. That is one great thing that these Nyayikas did. Actually, defeating many Buddhists in arguments was one thing that Nyayikas also did. Because Buddhists believe that there is nothing in this world. Like they believe Sarvam Shunyam, right? But for the Nyayikas, everything is real. Like we are speaking about the reality. Everything is real for them. And so they argued rigorously and they defeated many Buddhist scholars through their arguments. And they tried to establish the existence of Ishvara through inference itself. Okay, so Ishvara. So Atma is of two types. The Jivatma, there are many Jivatmas and every Jivatma is omnipresent. And then you have Ishvara, Atma, and the last substance is Manas. So Manas is considered to be very minute. Okay, it is very minute and it is considered to be Nityam. It is considered to be Nityam. Once an Atma becomes liberated, his Manas just drifts away, that's all. Till then it is with him. After that it drifts away. It's also eternal. Okay. So these are the substances that he speaks about. Now I want to tell something which is very important. These people, the Vaisheshikas, because Vaisheshikas are the people who were expert in the understanding of substances, right? So Kanada Maharishi, he poses the Paramanu Karanavada. He is considered to be one of the first people or the first person to place the Paramanu Karanavada.
The atomic theory.
People say atomic theory, but I don't know what the word atomic theory actually, the phrase atomic theory actually means. But what we say is Paramanu Karanavada. He says that among these 9 substances, from Akasha, Kala, Dik, Atma, Manamsi, all these are eternal, right? The Akash, Kala, Dik, these are omnipresent and eternal. Manas is very minute, atomic and eternal.
They don't have parts.
Niravaiva, yes. And so they don't have any, creation or destruction. But for the first 4 elements, Prithvi, Jala, Vayu, Agni, for them, they say that they are made up of atoms. Prithvi Paramanu, Jala Paramanu, Agni Paramanu, Tejaf Paramanu they say, and Vayu Paramanu. So these atoms come together to form different substances. And they have a very peculiar argument regarding causality also.
Yeah.
Asat Karyavada. That is again another big thing that we could discuss in future videos if at all people are interested in these kind of philosophies, these kind of arguments. So what they say is, two atoms come together to form Dvenukam, three Dvenukams come together to form Trenukam, and then so on, this world is created. Okay, the creator of the world is Ishvara. But what happens is, these atoms come together to form all these substances in this world. So he is of Paramanu Karanavada. Prithvi, Jala, Tejaha, Vayu. All these elements have Paramanus. The atoms of these elements are eternal again. Because since they are atomic, they are eternal. Anything that is formed from those atoms, they won't be eternal. They are created and they are destroyed later on. So these are the 9 substances, or to be precise, 9 dravyas. And then the second padartha is
among
Guna.
7.
Yeah, among 7 padarthas, the second one is Guna. Gunaha is basically qualities. And there are 24 qualities. 24 qualities. Let's not get into everything, but there are 24 qualities like Parasagandha Sparsha Sankhya Parimana Pathakva Sanyoga Vibhaga Paratva Paratva Gurutva Dravatva Sneha Shabda Buddhi Sukhadukke Ichha Dvesha Prayatna Dharma Dharma Samskara Chaturvimshatir Gunaha. So there are 24 qualities. Some qualities like Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha. Rupa, color. Rasa, taste. Gandha, smell. Sparsha, that is, if it is hot or not hot. Room temperature and all. And then you have many things like weight, gurutvam, dravatvam, maybe liquidity, that which flows, the quality of flowing, okay, and so on. Even knowledge, jnanam is also quality. That is a quality of the Atma.
Stickiness,
sneha. Shabda, sound is also a quality. Quality of space, it is said.
Then comes sukham, dukham.
Yeah, these are all qualities of an Atma. Jivatma.
The
desire, dvesha,
enmity
and all. Yes. So dharma, punyam and apunyam. Punyam, apunyam. Punyam, papam we say. Those are also qualities of Atma. So the 9 substances which we had seen, they have one or more qualities from these 24 qualities. So there are 24 qualities that have been explained by them. Okay. And then the third, dravyam, substance. The second one is qualities. The third is karma. Karma is basically movement or motion. Okay. They say that there are 5 types of karma. Utkshepana, apakshepana, akunchana, prasarana, gamanani, panchakarmani. But they are not very into that classification. Any kind of movement comes under karma. So that is third. This is also for them a padartha. And then the fourth one is samanyam. Samanyam, it is also called a jati. Okay. Many Indians must be, quite familiar with this word jati. So now you and I, Nevariran Nadiyan, we are from a jati called Manushyatva Jati. Right? You are a Manushya. I am also Manushya. You have something called Manushyatva Jati. And I too have that same Jati in me, Manushyatva. And it is not only in humans, but in all substances. He says that Dravya, Guna, Karma, all these 3 can have Jatis. For example, in Guna, there are colors, right? There could be blue color. There are many kinds of blue colors, right? But all those blue colors have a Jati. What Jati? Neela Rupatva Jati. They have that something which is called Jati, which binds them together. For him, Jati is there in these kind of similar beings. So if we are similar, by the quality of being humans, then we have Manushyatva Jati in us. If there are many pots, they have ghatatva jati in them. There is dravyatva jati, gunatva jati, karmatva jati. And so, if there are many entities similar, they all have one jati in them. This is used just to, classify and understand things. So he believes that there is this substance called jati
In it,
Yes, in it. In many things.
if I see a cow entity, I see many cows,
Yes.
but I identify each one as cow.
Yes.
So there is something in it which makes me understand that it is cow.
It is cow. And that which binds them together, I mean, that makes them be called as cow, is called Gotva Jati. Okay. So he says that there is something other than what we see. So in different darshanas we have different arguments. In Vishishtadvaita philosophy we don't believe that there is something called jati other than the substance itself. Okay. But Nyayika believes that there is something called jati. Like if we say cow, everything is a cow, there must be something called Gotva Jati. If we find that there are many pots and we call everything as a pot, so he says there is something called pottvam, like Ghatatva Jati. If what we are wearing, these are all vastras, right? Clothes. It has Vastratva Jati and all. So there are some rules regarding what can be a jati and not. You cannot just add tvam to something and say Ghatatvam, Bhatatvam and all. There are some restrictions. There are some doshas like Sankara and all. They must not be. Basically what I am saying is, the jati, it is a classification like this. So there is Dravyatva Jati. In it you will have Prithivitva Jati. You will have Jalatva Jati and all. So it will be like a tree with branches in it and so on. That is something, that is a very peculiar idea he has. But he believes that there is something called a jati in us.
Okay. Like color, like rasa.
Like rasa.
Something.
But it's not a quality. Because color or taste, they are qualities which come under guna. This is something different. The difference is, see, you have Manushyatvam. That Manushyatvam is present in you everywhere. It is present in me everywhere. But what is present in you and what is present in me is not two different jatis, but the same jati. So it is tough to understand. You have your own color. I have my own color. But jati is not so. Your jati and my jati is the same jati. Manushyatva jati. And it is the same for everyone. Every human in this world. So jati is slightly different from guna. Because it is present in everyone, but it is still one. Okay. So it is slightly different, but you can understand that in this way. See, we are just trying to give an introduction to all these concepts, going and learning properly. That too in Sanskrit medium is the best way to understand these things. Whatever we try to do, however we try to explain through English, it won't be doing justice to the concepts that have been presented. So this is one thing. Okay, jati. And then he says Vishesha. The Vaisheshika became Vaisheshika because of this Vishesha.
This is the Vishesha of Vaisheshika.
Vaisheshika. Okay. This is the fifth thing. Dravya, Guna, Karma, Samanya, Vishesha. What is Vishesha? He says that he has a peculiar argument regarding this. He says this mic is different from that mic. This is true. Yes, it is different.
Even they have similar jati.
Though they are similar, they have similarities. It is different, right? This is different. That is different. This is a different entity. That is different entity. It is separate. That is separate, right? And now, how can you say that both of these are separate? He says that particular mic has been made up of different particles than particles which have made up this mic. And you will say, how are those different? And it will go on to a level where you will be comparing, like this mic was made up of some materials, those materials were made up of some materials, those materials were made up of some materials, and it will go to the atomic level. So you'll have an atom from this mic and atom from that mic. This atom is different from that atom. But now, till now what you were doing is, these two mics are different because the substances that make up these mics are different. You were going in that way. But since the atom is not made up of any other thing, okay, now you must argue that that atom is different from this atom. How do you do that? He says there is something called Vishesha that makes this atom different from this atom. So there are two atoms. They are different from each other because of the existence of something called Vishesha. Maybe this is confusing. That's why the Vedantis don't agree upon the existence of this Vishesha. Okay. He basically says that
a hydrogen atom is different from another hydrogen atom. Different means it can be numbered 1 and this can be numbered 2.
That is different, this is different. Yes.
But it is entirely similar substances, but there is a difference.
This is not that, right?
Yes.
So what differentiates that? He says Vishesha differentiates that. Okay.
So Vishesha is a separate quality, different from Jati or different from Guna, which differentiates similar objects from.
Yes. And this Vishesha can be found only in those which are eternal. Nitya Dravya Vrittayo Visheshaha. You and I don't have Vishesha. Only the atoms have Vishesha in them. So those Visheshas differentiate each atom from one another. Okay. They will also be in other eternal substances such as Akasha and all.
Ityadi.
Because they are not made up of something. So how is Akasha different from Dik? Because of Vishesha, they say. This is some peculiar argument. It's tough to understand. Maybe there is much more logic to this. But this is one argument given in some texts. Okay. Again, whatever has been agreed by the Nyayika is not agreed by every Darshanakara. Like Vedantis, we don't agree upon most of what he says. Okay. We are just trying to explain his philosophy. Okay. And also, there have been many great scholars of this philosophy, like, Raghunatha Shiromani, who has written a great commentary called Didhiti. He has not agreed upon many substances. So it has been a lineage of scholars where they have tried to, use logic to come up with better arguments and understanding of reality. So it has never stagnated. They've always tried to improve themselves, given better arguments, cut down some substances and all. Okay, because sometimes we say there are 24 gunas. Why do we need 24 gunas? So he tries to cut them off. Like when we were looking at the substances and all, we saw that there is something called Dik, there is something called Akasha, there is something called Kala. People like Raghunatha Shiromani, they came and said, why do we need so many substances? Even by inference, we won't get so many substances. We can cut down. They have done such arguments and all. So this is Vishesha, something which is Vishesha, tough to understand, but they believe that it is there in eternal objects to differentiate them from others. And two more, Samavaya, Abhava. Samavaya is a sambandha, nitya sambandha, they say. See, now, usually there are some sambandhas in this world. Like when I join my hands, both the hands came together. There is a relationship now that has come into place between both these hands. That is called Sanyoga Sambandha. But that is not eternal, right? Once I pull them apart, Sanyoga is not present.
A temporary attachment.
Attachment. Yes. So, Sanyoga is something like attachment, that relationship which occurs between two substances, two dravyas, is called as Sanyoga. And now you have something called a Samavaya. Like we have seen that there is Dravyam, and Dravyam has gunas, qualities. So if we take an apple is a substance which has taste to it. It could be sweet. A sweet taste is in apple. If you take tamarind, it is sour, and so on. Now there is a relationship between this quality and this substance. That relationship is called a Samavaya. They say that, you have Dravyas, Gunas, Karma, Samanya, Vishesha. Dravya is related to all the other four through this relationship called Samavaya, they say. Dravya and Guna, Dravya and Karma, Dravya and Samanya, Dravya and Vishesha. These all these have this relationship in between, which is known as Samavaya Sambandha, which is eternal Sambandha. It is like till a color exists, it will exist along with the substance, right? The color cannot move away from the substance. So all these kind of qualities and all, they are related through this Sambandha called Samavaya Sambandha.
A permanent attachment. Though that word doesn't explain it rightly, just we can use it for understanding. A permanent attachment.
A permanent relationship. Okay. So that is Samavaya. And again, Samavaya is also not agreed upon.
If I shake my hands, there is an action. Action cannot be separated
from your hand. Yes. So inseparable relationship. That is
Samavaya. As
Samavaya. And it is considered to exist as a different entity, right? Okay.
From a temporary relationship.
Yes. Your hand and that movement has Samavaya in between them.
Like a glue.
Yeah, glue. But it cannot be perceived in such a way, but something like that. Okay. That is called Samavaya. And in the Brahma Sutras, Vedavyasa says Samavaya Abhyupagamacha. He doesn't believe that Samavaya exists. He says that there are some deficiencies that occur when you need to agree that there is something called Samavaya. Why do you need to agree that there is Samavaya? He says, and there are many things. So many of these objects are not agreed upon by the Vedantis. Okay. They say, and again the last Padartha, they called Abhava. Abhava is non-existence. But for them, non-existence itself is a Padartha. It is also called Abhava Padartha. The first 6 are called Bhava Padarthas, and the 7th one is called Abhava Padartha. Okay, this is the Abhava Padartha, 7th. That is basically non-existence. And this Abhava is classified into 4. Pragabhava, Pradvamsabhava, Anyonya Bhava, Atyanta Bhava. Again, there are some other classifications or sub-classifications and all, but basically 4.
Here we can say pot doesn't exist. In other words, there exists the non-existence of a pot.
There is non-existence of a pot. Okay. So, Ghata Abhava. Ghata is a pot. Ghata Abhava. Non-existence of a pot is there here. It has more to it. It is there everywhere. Okay. So, that is Ghata Atyanta Bhava. Ghata Anyonya Bhava. Anyonya Bhava basically is Bheda. You are different from me. So, I am not you. That is also an Abhava. You are not me, right? So, that is all Anyonya Bhava Bheda. And then there is Pragabhava Pradvamsabhava. Now, you have some thread from which a cloth will be prepared. Now, the cloth is going to be prepared here. In those threads, there is this Pragabhava. Till the cloth doesn't come into existence, there is Pragabhava. There is non-existence of the cloth, but it is temporary. Okay. Once the cloth comes into existence, the Pragabhava disappears. Okay. So this Pragabhava is such that it has been from time immemorial, beginningless, anadihi. But once the cloth arises, the absence of that cloth, that Pragabhava, it vanishes. And again there is Pradvamsa Bhava. There is this cloth, it has been destroyed, it has been torn into pieces. So those pieces now have the Pradvamsa Bhava. So these are some kinds of non-existence. These are all considered to be the seventh Padartha. So they try to classify these Padarthas in such a way, and they say that understanding these Padarthas is important to attain liberation. Without you understanding about the Jivatma and the world around you, you can never attain liberation, they say. And so, to attain liberation, you must understand what is around you, from what you must escape. For that, you need to classify. For that, you need to understand, break down them, and understand them. For that, he does all these things. Okay? They have come up with great methodologies that have been used by other Darshanakaras, and they are still being used by other Darshanakaras. So they have a lot of contribution towards our Sanatana Dharma. Okay, so now we have seen the Nyaya Darshana and Vaisheshika Darshana. Actually, we have seen them combined, right? The four pramanas of the Nyayikas, the seven Padarthas of the Vaisheshikas. But again, even Nyayikas believe that there are seven Padarthas. Vaisheshikas may not believe that there are four pramanas. They'll say that Upamanam and Shabdam will come under Anumanam. But again, most of the other things, they have similarities. They have, consensus. So we have tried to understand Nyaya and Vaisheshika in a nutshell. We have not gone into the history or other aspects of their philosophies, but just try to understand what their darshanam actually looks like. So they believe in seven Padarthas. By understanding them, you attain liberation. That liberation is Pashana Kalpam that I have told before. For that, Jnanam is needed, Tattva Jnanam is needed. So Tattvam, Hitam, Purushartham. Tattvam is the seven substances. Purushartham is a liberation. And to attain that kind of liberation, what they want is Tattva Jnanam, the knowledge regarding these substances. And since they believed in, logical approach, you'll find that in the Nyayika philosophy, they say that there are 16 Padarthas. Though they also agree upon 7 basic classifications, but they believe that understanding 16 Padarthas is important to attain liberation. So they split them, classify them differently. Okay, so Shodash Padartha or Sapta Padartha, you must understand them to gain liberation. This is the darshana of Nyaya and Vaisheshika. Done, Swami?
Thank you very much, Swami, for patiently explaining the Nyaya and Vaisheshika philosophy. Just we have given a
Glimpse.
very brief explanation. It cannot be said as explanation. It is a brief note. What is it? We have to understand Nyaya and Vaisheshika philosophy mainly for their pramanams, the rules about pramanams, the Indian logic, they say. They have added this study of logics to some professions like lawyers, or even now it is added to the NET exam, National Eligibility Test. It is added to this National Eligibility Test to understand logics. It helps us understand everything.
Yes.
The right understanding, the quality of understanding, it is very durlabh in this world. Everyone does not have that quality to understand anything right.
Yeah.
So this
Precisely. Understanding precisely. Yes.
the study of Indian logic helps in understanding. Hope audience also have understood something from our podcast.
I think, I don't think this podcast would help them understand something in a different way. What it may do is, just give a glimpse of how much philosophy has gone into our Shastras. Okay? There is a reason the Shastras have told that Nyaya is also a Vidyasthana. There are Chaturdasha Vidyasthanas, 14 Vidyas. Among them, there is Nyaya Vistaraha. So, it is also considered an Upanga of Vedas. Because to understand the Vedas, you must have this methodology, understand the methodology of Nyaya, so that you can understand the Vedas better. So, nowadays, whoever study Nyaya, they study Nyaya to understand Vedanta better. I don't think there are anyone who are still Nayayikas. Maybe there could be some people, some families, I don't know. But mostly there are no Nayayikas left today. But the study of Nyaya is done everywhere to understand Vedantam better. Because it helps in understanding anything better. So, anyone who is interested, they can study, they can start with basic texts like Tarka Sangraha, Karikavali, Muktavali and all, and gain some knowledge regarding how our Shastras, our philosophy actually works, and then get into Vedanta, Upanishads, and the texts that pertain to Upanishads like Brahma Sutra Bhashyam and all, through which they can gain right knowledge regarding our Sanatana Dharma. Okay, so this could help in that way, and in just giving a glimpse about the amount of thought which has been put into all these things. Now, this is a very tough topic to speak in a very short period of time, but I think I have given my best here. Of course, when we are trying to present things in a very concise manner, there are nuances which are lost. That cannot be helped. But again, we had to do this, so we have done this. Hope this, makes you ponder over things in a better way, encourages you to, study more Indian philosophy. And saying so, let's finish this video. Hope to find you guys in another episode where we'll discuss about another Indian philosophy. Till then, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.
Srimati Ramanujaya Namaha.
Thanks for watching this video. We at Bhaktamritam are committed to deliver the best quality content regarding Sanatana Dharma and Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. Our objective is to promote, preserve and preach the values of Sanatana Dharma, especially Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. This really involves a lot of time, effort and resources. If our efforts have really touched your lives, you can consider supporting us. The links for the same have been provided in the description box as well as on your screens. Thank you.